So that the recording can see that I'm still on the trip, right? And I still got the vibe, but the joke's already stale. In any case, yesterday was awesome. Thank you for those who participated. We missed you, those who did not, and we hope to see you in the next ones. Okay? So there'll be lots of opportunities. Tov, we have a whole plan and agenda for today. Um, our focus. We're going to stay with learning objectives, teaching cycle, ownership, because we don't want to drive by professional development. We want to stay with it, deepen, widen, go up, go down, go sideways, more of it, okay? With dagesh on practice. Because it's learning by doing, the people who helped me organize today gave me less time to talk. And so I usually do updates. And today I'm just going to focus on one issue in updates, and that is that our wonderful Hadar Bold is leaving to the US, and she is a was core member for a whole bunch of years, and has really impacted and contributed to the pedagogy of our unit from the macro to the micro. I want to say thank you to Hadav. On Sunday, we're doing a going away party, and other things will be said and left for there. But I don't know if instructors are going to attend or can attend, but it's important that this forum, that you know that a lot of the changes that you've seen, but only the good changes. The bad changes is on me, but the good changes are on her. All right. She wrote, and many of you have interacted with her. And just so, like, Hadar, core member of our team, um, will be with us till the end of this academic year through September. Okay, and she's moving her and her family to the States to start a new chapter in their lives. So that's that. Ken? Yofi. I apologize that I'm not gonna have opportunity for other updates, but the truth is it's okay. All right, Rega, let me just see that I'm set up. What do you? So but let's just jump right in because I really don't have time, and we want to get to working, and you guys' time is the most important. Okay. So we're staying with this. And I hope today even to have time to do larger forum discussions with you on these issues, because I know that when I sent my fireside chat on the issue of ownership, I got some feedback from instructors who wrote me back about what it was like to think about ownership and review their experiences from this semester in a wartime semester where a lot of the course requirements were forgiven to the students prior, right? And so it made things interesting. But so from teaching cycle to teaching practice, turning ownership into everyday classroom routine. Okay. So in general, just needed to start at 1, not at 12. סליחה, my bad. אבל קחו שעה קדימה. כאילו אנחנו בסעודי ערב, I guess that's the time now, no? משהו. Did I go the right way around the world for time zones? אבל anyway, we're going to now a few opening statements. We're going to do a quick poll to talk about the teaching cycle. Then what I think is like the cherry on top of the cake. I'm hearing myself now. There you go. Is we've selected something like 5 success stories from instructors here, a little bit of micro teaching. Coordinators and the instructor are going to present a bit of the teaching that we saw from their lessons. Ken, and that's going to be lovely. And then we're going to go into breakout rooms, and we're going to each find our own story of success using, I guess, the teaching cycle and the learning objective at the heart of the teaching cycle as a lens for finding and analyzing the stories. We'll share. We'll take a break. We'll talk about ownership. Okay, and maybe here we'll have a discussion on ownership. And I'd like to hear you on ownership, Ken, because the token that I'm bringing to you today, yesh chidush, all right? It's not all review. And here I want to hear from you more. I don't want to do all the talking. I want this to be dialogue. All right, and then we will do some more practicing and share, reflect. That's the plan for today. Okay, so to connect us to last time, all right, we had the learning objective and how does it structure our class time, b'mifgash, right, in a classroom session, in a class, in lesson 2, in lesson 4, right? And then we also then talked about, well, that learning objective is a goal. It's an objective. How do we make that objective the student's objective so that the learning is authentic? All right. I just participated in a workshop where I was a participant in, and the facilitator there keeps saying, "Anachnu maknim, hem lo konim. Anachnu maknim, hem lo konim." Right? And that just like that mantra sort of reverberates in my mind because if they don't have ownership, we could be the best at presenting the lesson in the clearest, most didactic and systematic way, and we could be concise and whatever. אם הם לא קונים, לא עשינו כלום. מה קרה אצלהם? All right, and that's where I want to move to what I'm bringing as a chidush to the content from last time. So, I want us to always be thinking about the students' minds as sites of learning. Okay? We all have our Zoom recordings, right? And that you can go back and watch yourselves teach. I don't think there's any more impactful professional development act than a teacher watching themselves teach. It's cringe in the beginning, but you get over the cringe. And I'm telling you, as teachers by nature, by default, are a band of soloists. We're a pack of wolves. We're a herd of cats. All right. How do we become a community? One of the first steps is allowing other teachers into the room when we're teaching. Because we're so used to closing the door, we have to talk to students who don't know as much as we do, right? And there's that hierarchy, and we sort of benefit from it, and we take advantage of it. So if we let colleagues into the room, all right, now you don't have to worry. We're not going to be doing that now. I don't know if we're ready as a community yet for such that kind of review of each other's teaching at the moment now, but maybe in the future we'll feel a little bit less vulnerable to do so, but we have to gauge it. But today we will be watching 5 instructors are inviting us into their classrooms today to see what they're doing, okay? And at any one moment, all right, why did we choose the 5 is because we asked ourselves the question, what's going on in the student's mind now? And then a minute later, we asked, what's going on in the student's mind now? What is this learning experience that we've designed and are delivering to the students? And if you can just use that lens for thinking about today and when we watch the videos and for us reflecting on your own teaching practices, and then when you get really good at asking this question and answering it to yourself, in real time in class, asking it. I'm in half an hour's gone by in lesson 6. What's going on now after I just did this in the students' minds? Does that align with the design of what I had wanted for my learner experience? Instead of UX, LX. So if the transition in class from one activity to the next is not clear, they're going to be confused. If there's too much teacher talk, they're going to get lost and their minds are going to wander. How many of you right now, because I've been talking for a bit and it's a monologue, have minds have already wandered? And we bring it back. We focus, but that only lasts for so long, and then the mind wanders again. Okay? So what's going on in the minds now? But if our talk is focused, targeted, and we get to the doing quickly, then their minds will be engaged. Okay? So this is the resource that the teaching cycle is supposed to bring. Explicit instruct. I'm going to show it to you soon. Okay? So try to take on this lens of asking this question, what's going on in the students' minds now, as a resource going forward. Okay? And I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. So where are we in the cycle? Right? This is a little bit of a review of the teaching cycle. Explicit instruction. What's supposed to be happening in the students' minds during explicit instruction? Because in the beginning, they don't kind of know. Or maybe you are connecting to something they do know, right? There are different contexts within which explicit instruction happens. Some of you I've seen, when you do the modeling, is, they told me that. It wasn't clear in my mind, but now that I see what they mean, and then it clicks for them. Some of you blend the modeling and explicit instruction, and you even blend in eliciting from the students toch kedei, so that it becomes a dialogue, right? And you can see, you can actually feel the thinking in their minds palpable because they're saying it, they're doing think aloud, all right? In the guided practice, you see what they've understood, to what degree they've understood, and the kind of feedback that each one needs individually so that they can be successful in doing, in achieving the learning objective that's at the center here. The independent practice, moving from here to here, that's a big step because we want to help so much. It's hard for us to let go. I'll tell you, I taught in the last 3 semesters, not including this past one, 3 new courses because I was a new instructor. I got observed by one of Sefi's team as peer observations. We have people on the team here who are part of Sefi's team there. And what she told me was, I was trying to be so over helpful and provide them so many helping aids that I was drowning them in the water with all these buoys and flotation devices I was trying to give them. Where maybe the first one was enough and they would have floated on their own. All right, this letting go, I know is difficult for me too. Why? Because I want to help. It's why I'm in teaching Bechlal. All right, I want to help people, Begadol. Right? So letting go and seeing that they can do it and it's okay if they fall, you're there to help pick them up, help them to get themselves back up. And then the assessment really goes throughout. So it's not like, sure, there's the final assessment. You want to make sure it's aligned with the teaching, but we should be assessing and checking in constantly. Not just asking, are you getting me and leaving it alone, but in the design, creating some task to see, did you get it? And how did you get it? All right. So we're ready on for the next bit with the poll. Which part of the teaching cycle did you use most consciously, intentionally this semester? Shirley, you're going to release the poll. I'm going to stop the share screen. Answer it. We'll present the results. Do I do it? Slicha, if I needed to do it, then if was it? Here it is. I can launch. I'm going to launch. Do you guys see? My bad. While you guys were ready with your answers, the results are coming in quick. רק עכשיו אני מדפדף לדף השני בזום, איזה נחמד. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for showing up. איזה מרגש. So we have 44 people here, and 31 have answered the poll.
Yeah, I can't pick just one. So I'm not going to.
I got it. And we're going to unpack that. You're exempt.
Actually, I agree with his comment. It was very hard for me to choose one.
All right.
I've done more than one. So
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, but so I'm ending the poll. We have 33 people. I'll give another 10 seconds for somebody who wants to make a last minute entry. End poll, share results. All right, so what you're seeing is explicit instruction, modeling, and even guided practice, they take most of the pie, right? Nice, and explicit instruction. Okay, anyway, mamash yafeh. How do you guys have any interpretations of these results? How do you understand what's going on here? Is there a story here that emerges?
I think this semester,
Ariela, please.
I think this semester, because they were exempt from handing in mamanim, we especially needed explicit instructions, modeling. It was the focus because they were on their own. Some of them we saw the minimum of how many? 6 lessons? 8, I think was the minimum. So they were basically here and not here. So it was super important to have them see what exactly we mean for every practice that we did had to be guided, modeled, and explicitly explained. So
Okay. All right, nice. Somebody else?
Yeah, I would add to that, since we had to choose only one answer, I think we did most of the things here. But it seems that the guided practice for us is the most important one. That's why most of us chose it. It doesn't mean that it was the only thing used during the semester. And I do agree that the war and all the changes that we had did actually affect outcome of the way we practiced with our students.
Nice. Thank you for that. Leah?
Yes, I agree that this was not a regular semester, and we wanted to make sure that the students practice during the lessons more. So guided practice and also independent practice was also the focus of my lessons. But I chose guided practice because explicit instruction is usually not a problem. Like we happily explicitly instruct, like by nature, as I said, wanting to help. And the work that we need to be doing, and I tried to do this semester, is to step back and give more time for them to practice and do things in the class.
Nice. Now we kind of have to move on. Lisa, you want to say something real quick?
Just want to say that the independent practice and guided practice are like there's either an overlap or we need to define them, or it doesn't matter that much because like whether independent practice is only mamanim done at home independently, or is it group work done, which some teachers will call independent practice, some people will call guided practice because they're in class and the teacher, so it's a bit unclear, but anyway, both are very, very important.
Yeah, well, Yafet, just by way of summarizing, this. They're all important because, for example, especially when the reform happened, some of us just said, all right, now we got to write a summary of an article, read this, summarize it, good luck. All right, that's all guided practice. But so we do need, what should I focus on? What skills will I need to get this job done? What does that look like? Give me something first, okay? We also know on the other end, if I'm just talking the whole time, then that also doesn't work. So each of the components are important in the right amount. Okay, that's the idea here. There isn't like one right answer. It's just maybe you want to, if you're focusing on explicit instruction and talking, being more concise and just getting the clearest points across to the students so that then they can go on and try it on their own, then you've focused on explicit instruction in the last semester. That's okay. All right, so now we're going to start with Oli. All right. And Shiraz, right? And we're going to go up the levels. So we're going to start in pre-basic. I'd like maybe there's a progression that we'll see too. But are you guys ready to share your screens with the materials? Yes, so please feel free to go ahead and do that. And we're going to give you something like, I don't know, around 5 minutes for each of these.
Okay.
Okay, so about what we're going to see. So up to this point, I taught the students, they were asked to plan a trip. And then I taught them the structure of the present simple questions, how to ask simple questions in the present simple. And they had to apply the structure of present simple questions on their own traveling habits. And they were divided into breakout rooms. In groups, they had to write a dialogue of 3 questions and 3 imaginary answers to these questions. Everything, of course, is related to their, as I said, their traveling habits. The dialogue was between a local Parisian and a tourist. And that's what this part is going to show. Yeah, it's stuck. Oh. So after this activity in the breakout rooms, they had to present their dialogues to the class. And I'm going to show you a very short part of the lesson, how they presented the dialogues after the breakout rooms. And your answers. So I want each group to choose one question and one answer.
Okay, we're not seeing the whole screen clearly.
Okay, so let's start with room number 1, Ortal, Vardit, Ido, and Ro'i. So who wants to share one question? Not full screen. And your answers. So I want... And your answers. So I want each... I can see it's the biggest one I can show you. I hope it's big enough. I can't make it larger. I'm sorry. Send your answers. There you go. So I want each group to... Let's start from the beginning. Okay. Send your answers. So I want each group to choose... Back.
No, it's apparently
answers.
It's okay. Just let it go.
I want each group
You want me to try?
to choose one question and one answer to present us. Okay, so let's start with room number 1, Ortal, Vardit, Ido, and Ro'i. So who wants to share one question and one answer?
Okay, we don't see, pause it a second. We don't see the people. Is that on purpose?
רגע, rule number one. Let's do it according to the order. Because in this part of the lesson, I share the screen, so we cannot see them.
Can I try to show the video?
Ken,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I
Okay.
guess so. Let's stop.
So can you stop the share? Okay, I'll try.
חשוב האנשים.
Can you see my screen?
רגע. Yeah. Go for it.
Few more seconds to go back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I brought you back here to hear your questions and your answers. So I want each group to choose one question and one answer to present us. Okay, so let's start with room number one, Ortal, Vardit, Ido, and Ro'i. So who wants to share one question and one answer? רגע, room number one. Let's do it according to the order. Okay. Vardit once or Tal? Who said so?
I can do it.
Vardit. Okay. Vardit. Okay. Okay. Ortal is so generous. Okay. Yes. So Vardit, tell us one question and one answer.
Okay. Which metro number I need to take to Nouvelle?
Okay. Which metro number?
Yeah, I need to take to the Nouvelle.
So what is missing here? What metro number do I need?
Do I? Okay.
Okay. Because it's a question. Okay. And what is a possible answer?
You need to take the yellow one.
Okay. It's not a number, it's a color, but yes. Okay. Okay.
עשינו בכוונה כדי להבין ממש שהוא לא בכלל לא מבין כלום.
Okay. Was it your idea, Roy?
Of course.
עכשיו הרעיון הגיע, אבל בסדר.
Okay. So thank you. Room number two, let's hear your question and your answer. One of the questions that you wrote down. Dor, Adi, Rosa, and Shadia. One volunteer.
I want to try.
Okay, so give us a question and an
I have a simple question. What are the beautiful places I can visit in Paris?
Okay, what are the beautiful places I can visit in Paris? Okay.
The answer, you can visit the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre Museum.
Okay, good. A good question, a good answer. Good, very relevant. Okay, thank you. And room number three, Anastasia, Yehudit, and Yelena. Who wants to share with us one question, one answer?
Yehudit.
Yes.
Okay. What attraction should I visit in Paris?
Okay.
You should go to the Bourse de Commerce. This is a museum, a special museum with places on the water. And they're doing something special.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the Anastasia idea.
Anastasia's idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds very original. Okay.
Very, yes.
This is idea because someone who lives in Paris tell for us something what we don't knew in original life.
So maybe this is something that only the locals know.
Yes, only the locals.
Okay, I understand. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for the question and the answer. I'll write it down to myself the next time I'll be there. Okay, and
תבטלי את ההקלטה.
אני מקליטה.
כן, זה מקליט אוטומטית.
Can I say something? Just a bit of humor. If you ask the reasons in English, you'll hardly get any answer. Just say.
All right, please Only Shiraz, is there a follow-up word?
Shiraz, do you want to continue?
Okay, so I'll share the presentation. Yeah, the next part. Yeah. Okay, so these are my considerations for this activity. So first of all, it was in the beginning of the course. It was only the second week of the course. It was in lesson number 4. So at the beginning, they're very embarrassed. They don't know each other and they have to get used to speak English. So in this activity gives them another chance to speak and feel more comfortable with the group without being pressured to create a very pleasant atmosphere. And of course, they had to use the present simple in the context of traveling. And
send your answers.
Yeah, okay.
Send your answers.
And also, of course, the activity was to create questions and to come up presented their what they did in groups. They actually spoke naturally about other stuff. They don't even pay attention that I keep asking them questions or that they share more information in English besides what they had to actually do in the task itself. And also when it's a very small group, I can make sure that every student speaks at least several times every lesson. So it gives them, and this activity gives them another opportunity. Of course, there were other opportunities throughout the lessons in which they spoke English. Okay.
All right. Tov, thank you very much. Let's move on.
You're welcome.
If that's okay. Leah. Thank you very much. Shiraz and Orly.
Can I say something?
Please, yeah, while we're
Sure.
getting set up.
Shiraz, I liked the way that you repeated and corrected by repeating. You know, this is also the advice of linguists, the advice linguists give parents when they correct their children. So I think it's great.
Nice.
Thank you.
And the respect that you give to the students allows your corrections not to be taken as threatening or detrimental. So that's respecting the students was core there. Okay, Leah.
Okay, so we will gladly continue. Anat will start by giving some background information about what she did. I'll share the video of Anat will speak. I'll offer my comments then. Okay, so Anat.
Just a second. Let me share the screen just a second. Okay, so this is lesson number 5, right in the beginning of the course, in which I introduced them to the topic of elevator pitch. So before the clip, I reviewed what we've done in the previous lesson, and I went over the learning objectives of today's lesson. Then we discussed the term elevator pitch. And I explained to them that before we watch the clip, there are some words that they need to be familiar with so they would understand the clip better. Now, during the clip, what you're going to watch is this. I asked each student a question using a word in context while sharing the screen so that the Hebrew definition is visible, because I felt they would be more confident in their abilities. The answers are short, and they can choose many different kinds of answers that will be correct. And this helps them feel capable and more confident speaking. I announced to them that I will call out a student randomly. So they know that they have to stay focused and they have to be attentive on the words. The learning objectives that are targeted in this part of the lesson is mainly student ownership to make it relevant for them and to make them understand and value, take responsibility for their learning journey. And then to connect it to relevant issues for them and to encourage self-reflection. After the clip, I'll explain why I chose this specific tactics and what other tactics I have, but after the clip. So I'll stop sharing and Leah, you can share the clip itself. Ole, good. Rosie, can you give me an example of when you might feel insecure?
I feel insecure when I'm going to the new place.
Exactly. Wonderful. Me'ule, exactly. When you go to a new place, you feel insecure. Me'ule. Good. Okay, I'm asking a difficult question. Limor, what would you do? What is the first thing that you will do if you get a job opportunity? If you get a job opportunity, what is the first thing you will do? Just speak a little louder so I can hear you.
No, I don't understand the question.
The question? What is the first thing that you will do or maybe that you will feel if you suddenly you get a job opportunity?
I feel excited.
Excited? Excellent. That's a good answer. Okay. Yaron, what do you expect a professional teacher to do? What do you expect a professional teacher to do?
In a professional teacher is the someone I can understand what you say, or is the different difficult?
Okay, wonderful. So someone that you can understand because go to a new place, you feel insecure. Maule. Good. Okay, I'm asking a difficult question. Limor, what would you do? What is the first thing that you will do if you get a job opportunity? If you get a job opportunity, what is the first thing you will do? Just speak a little louder so I can hear you.
No, I don't understand the question.
The question? What is the first thing that you will do or maybe that you will feel if you suddenly you get a job opportunity?
I feel excited.
Excited? Excellent. That's a good answer. Okay. Yaron, what do you expect a professional teacher to do? What do you expect a professional teacher to do?
In a professional teacher is the someone I can understand what you say, or is the different difficult?
Okay, wonderful. So someone that you can understand because she or he explains well. Good for you. Thank you. Okay. Israela. The word relevant. What is relevant to know if I want to fly to another country? What is relevant for me to know?
To know the day, the hour, not forget to take the passport.
Excellent. You gave me three things. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So let me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Leah.
So maybe I can then I'll say a few words of what we saw and try to connect with the learning objectives cycle that we saw at the beginning of this meeting. So first of all, this is a vocabulary list that we just pre-teach lightly because we need this for the clip that will follow, and that will tell that this is not the main list of words that students learn. Some of them are in the main vocabulary list, but this is like an additional list that we expose them to. And very often I see that teachers, and including me, who would just read through the list, make sure they know how to pronounce the word, they see the translation, we will move on to the clip. Now, what I liked here, and now I'm going to talk about the explicit instruction, which is how we start the cycle of learning objectives. Explicit instruction here is shown on the screen. So, as Anat said, you don't have to read the list. The students see your explicit instruction on the screen. And now what Anat did, she went into modeling by asking an unexpected question to an expected person. So she models the word by asking her question, okay? And even a few times, like she repeated the word so the students can hear, like all of them hear. Now, the guided practice comes in when the student has to produce a sentence, which is very nice, it's spontaneous speech. They're not ready, they have to come up with an answer themselves. And the guided element is because Anat corrected just a little bit, slightly, without saying I'm correcting, but repeated the sentence using the word correctly. Now, it's also not the word, but the word in a sentence, and it's also a spontaneous production, okay, which is excellent. There's an element of a surprise, element of creativity, because each question is slightly different, of playfulness. So you wanna keep like doing this, and this is great because instead of like just reading through the list, could be repetitive and boring, you have a very nice little activity, okay? And so independent practice would probably follow when they watch a clip with these words. An assessment, we do not necessarily assess the words in this specific case. So, Anat?
Okay, yeah, so I'd like to add here. Okay, so a few challenges and struggles and dilemmas that I had. I want to make an atmosphere in the group where the students are cooperative and feel confident using the language, but some tend to be more verbal than others. So in this exercise, I want to be the one picking up a student rather than letting them initiate their own participation, because they're most likely get a correct answer. And even if they don't, I will guide them into it, like to getting a correct answer. And short answers make speaking less intimidating. And the challenge, it has to be a short exercise or they will lose interest. And waiting for a student to speak sometimes takes time, and it's not in my control how long that will take, or how long it will take them to come up with an answer. Now, if I put my questions on the chat and give them like 2 or 3 minutes to write down the answer prior to eliciting the answers, then the weakest ones might use AI or any sort of like Google Translate. I want it to be spontaneous. Some adjustments I might make for next time. Some answers might be off, like a part that you did not see, because this was not a perfect lesson. What you did not see, for example, when I asked, where do you feel confident? And a student answered, I feel confident at home. When semantically, that student probably understood the word as secure. So I did not correct that student, but I changed the questions so that it might fit, or I always write down the questions to myself before, because I want to be prepared, and I want to know what works and what doesn't. So next lesson, I would probably change that question to make it a little clearer. Now, I know some of them may be eager to answer and may be frustrated that I don't pick them. So I might ask like random students to speak, but at the same time to let volunteers answer. And now, if I have a lesson that involves a lot of discussion, I sometimes choose a different tactic with the words. I never just read out the words, but I'm a great fan of gamification. So what you see here, these 2 sites that I I use. I try to alter and change constantly. So for example, this is an example of EducaPlay, an application. I take the words, I share the screen with the Hebrew definitions, and then I let them play. And here I do have the control of how long it takes them. And I discovered that it doesn't matter how old you are, every person likes to play, and they're very cooperative when it comes to that. So this is Frogger. When they choose the correct answer, they move forward, and when they don't, they drown. Now, they compete against themselves, basically. This is an example of Blooket. I can't really share the screen, but this is like a game they love. This is a competition between all members of the class. What they see on the board is like challenges. It's very much like Kahoot, but I give them a context of the word. They have to choose it, and then when they get it right, they either win gold or they take gold from other people, and then you constantly see the competition between them. They really love it. Sorry. For example, car work.
Anat, I'm wary of time. Your passion is palpable. Everyone sees this. Also, one thing that I'd like for us to see is the pedagogical reasoning behind
so that's
the actions behind. We have to move on, Ken. But
so I'm skipping. So I'm skipping to the last slide. So I'm scaffolding the task to make the speaking less intimidating. That's the pedagogical, psychological safety that I want. I want to create an atmosphere in which they feel less intimidated to talk. And I want everybody to participate. So sometimes I direct the speaking. And like I showed, I address diverse learning preferences because sometimes I do this and other times I do gamification. Every time I alter what I do, basically.
All right. Nice. So again, thank you for inviting us into your classroom and showing us what was a lovely and effective teaching practice, asking them questions using the word, and the only way they can answer it is if they've understood the word, right? And you help guide them in that, and it was interactive and engaging with them, and you could see them starting to become familiar with these words. So that was lovely. So that and all of your what seems maybe on the surface is a simple act, look at all the layers of pedagogical reasoning behind it, right? And starting to work with that on concrete artifacts like recordings is a very powerful tool for thinking about teaching. All right, let's move on. Thank you very much, Anat and Lea. Aliza, and I'm aware that we're off schedule, but we'll make adjustments later on. This part is super important, and we're going to give this all the time that it deserves. Also because it's hearing from you all. Okay, so please, Aliza.
Yeah, I just want to say about the time, as Lea once wisely told me, nothing takes 5 minutes. So, yeah, anyway, Yelena is going to show us a clip. I just want to say a few words on this, where it came in the lesson and in the course. The learning objectives are note-taking, and more specifically within note-taking, it's integrating notes. Meaning, I'll explain. We have text with sections, and within each section we have like 2-3 paragraphs. What we do, the method is to read a paragraph, take notes, read a paragraph, take notes, and then at the end of the section, we look back, we stop and think, and we ask, what is this section about? And then we write something coherent, some kind of an idea. Here, this is the first lesson. This is lesson 4 in our course, and it's the first time they are being taught how to do this. And in this point in time in the lesson, Elena is showing them how to integrate notes. All right, so good.
Okay, thank you so much, Aliza, for providing the background. And I'm going to show the video clip. Just a moment. I'll share the computer sound. Just a second. Okay, so this is the video clip presenting this exact moment. Okay, so just a few moments. Okay, now We'll need to connect the ideas from both paragraphs. We'll need to start with the topic, meaning what the section is about, and add a comment, what the writer is saying about the topic. So the topic will be that street libraries are an example of gift economy, or street libraries are gift economy. Now, how can we connect these two ideas together using an appropriate connector? Let's hope it will work. If it won't, probably not, we'll just look at the connectors. And, because, which is why, however, that, on the one hand, on the other hand, therefore. Let's return to our site and let's try to connect these ideas into one. They are examples of gift economy. They're based on sharing and create a sense of community. Okay, so take a moment and then let's see how we can write a sentence, one sentence, that combines these two ideas together.
So I need to make the notes and then to make a new sentence based on these rules, all these words.
Exactly. This is a very, very nice explanation of our approach. This can be 2 paragraphs. This can be 3 paragraphs in a section. Our main task is to take notes and then combine these two notes into one main idea, usually using an appropriate connector. Okay, yeah, exactly. This is what we're going to do and
So
practice.
it's not have to be a story. It should be some collection of sentences that describe the story.
Yeah, it's actually one sentence. Yeah, it's exactly like this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try. I can see an example written by Dolev on the chat. So let's look at it and let's see. Street libraries are an example of a gift economy that is based on sharing and generosity and create a sense of community. So it looks wonderful. What we need is to put an appropriate connector in its place. Sounds very nice. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dolev. So let's write this down. Let's also write this down together. And then you will get an opportunity to practice and to write this from the beginning and integrate. So street libraries, right? Are an example of gift economy. Of a gift economy. Okay. We can say, and they create a sense of community. So it would be correct, it would be very nice, but we can also play a little bit with connectors, okay? So they are an example of gift economy. We can add that they are based on sharing, which we'll probably do. But so regarding connectors, we can probably pick another one, okay? So let's look at this connector, which is why. Which is why, ובגלל זה, it's a very nice connector that includes the connection of an explanation, okay? It explains the reason why it is happening. So let's practice, let's see how it works. I think it will actually be very suitable. So they are an example of a gift economy, which is why they create a sense of community. Sounds good, sounds a little bit more, you know, explanatory, a little bit more like showing reasons and effects of these reasons.
Can you use
Okay.
because, maybe?
We can use because. Okay. Let's see if it works. Street libraries are an example of a gift economy because they create a sense of community. Probably it won't work. Okay, can you feel why because is probably not the best choice in this case?
זה משהו שלילי כזה?
It's not reason.
It's not, yeah, it's not the reason. They are an example of a gift economy, but it doesn't, but that, the thing that they create, the sense of community, is not the reason that they are an example of a gift economy, right? They are example of a gift economy, and as a result, yes, they create a sense of community. So because probably won't be the best choice, but which is why, or as a result, could be more suitable. Okay. Okay, so this is the this part of the recording, and I would like to say a few words about this part of the lesson. So as Aliza has said, this is the lesson on the text street libraries, and the place of this exact moment is after we have determined we have taken the notes, we have determined the main ideas. Okay, so I will just show very briefly all the stages. So we started with the searching online, the information about street libraries. Then we discussed the eye-catching features of the text. The second stage was note taking and labeling with help of the course site as a visual aid. And in addition, another visual aid was used, which is a low-tech, a very nice tool, using the some digital sticky notes. And these were very helpful in showing that we can sometimes combine two different ideas in one main idea of a section. So the episode selected for the presentation is based on the second section of the text, More Than Just Books. This is how it is called. And this section is the most challenging part of the entire text. Students need to do a lot of challenging actions. They need to discover that street libraries are part of a system where goods and services are provided based on generosity as a gift, and therefore they are good for society. And there are several examples illustrating this in the text, but it is not explicitly stated. And the episode shows what otherwise may be called a technical moment. It's a technical moment of connecting notes. The main points have already been determined, and the only thing left is to integrate these using a suitable connector. And now I think we're looking at something that may be called the secret life of students and teachers, because at the same time, along with this technical moment, it also captured something more interesting. So it also captured a student asking a question about writing the main ideas, which possibly stemmed from his desire to understand the rules and to formulate the rules for performing the skill. It included my attempt as a teacher to slow down and to provide several options for how to combine the ideas. And my motivation was to check students' real grasp of ideas and to avoid the situation they just integrate information technically, automatically. There was a mini discussion that gave students an opportunity to make a mistake with a connector and correct it while hopefully reaching a deeper understanding of the logical relations among the gift economy, street libraries, and their impact on community. So overall, it turned out to be an opportunity to engage in a dialogue with the students and create an aha moment of understanding. I would also like to add a few very brief reflections. So
Elena, can I ask you just to choose one, reflection, and
Yeah,
then we have to
okay,
move on.
okay. Yeah, absolutely. So so maybe just two minor, very, very minor things. So first of all, even technical moments in the lesson can be very, very informative regarding what students do and don't understand. Another idea and something that I understood is that students often try to discover simple regularities in any skill. And I think that this is one of the central challenges for me as a teacher. We really need to equip students with tools, with rules, with patterns, with connectors they can always rely on. But any rule or strategy is usually a simplification. So it's very important to challenge their superficial understanding, let them discover their options, and let them see what happens if they make a wrong choice. And probably the best tool we can provide them with is critical thinking, being able to correct themselves and to be their own teachers, kind of this little voice in their heads, and eventually their first graders, something that may happen on the exam. Okay, thank you so much for listening.
All right, cool. I think that, Liz, you want to say a word?
Yeah, I just wanted to like wrap it up and add something that connects to what Yelena said. The mini discussion on the word because, one of the main things I like there is that Yelena, as an instructor, gave room to discuss something that turned out or was in foresight or hindsight, a mistake. So like a lot of times we rush to give the answer, but there was a process here until the students understood, or the student understood their mistakes. So that was great. And that exactly touches on what the tension that Yelena was talking about now between providing some kind of a technical way of doing something and giving space also to think about it, like for the understanding to come in, because the world is messier than our technical solutions.
Nice, nice. And if we think about meaning construction, and that students have to take the meaning and reconstruct it in their minds, we saw there them putting two Lego blocks together and connecting them, right? And that's the integrating and arriving at a larger and larger, more macro understanding of the text. Nice. Toda rabba. We have two more of these. Nora. So Nora, let's let Irene go first.
Okay. Dalal sababa. بصدق. Okay, so
Dalal
Irene, you just want to see where she is.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi. So you give the background, I'll play the video afterwards, then we'll do reflection.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
Super.
Sure. Okay, so the background is, so I just wanted to, second. The background is basically okay, sorry. The background is during the unit of fake news. And the specific topic was, we were talking about media literacy. And prior to the clip, students had watched a short video about media literacy and discussed the main message. They were then working independently on identifying supporting ideas from the video. And so the overt lesson objective was for them to find supporting ideas from the video about media literacy and about the big message about this video. In this section, students discuss which recommendations from the video support the main message and whether some ideas are represented indirectly rather than stated word for word. And
you can just play it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay.
Try to cut on time. So
okay. Okay. Oh, Autumn, is that Rotem Vetzafri. Rotem, do you want to tell us?
Yes.
Tell us, Nagid, tell us three supporting ideas, Nagid.
Okay, so
The
I
speed is
want
too much.
simple methods to verify info such as social reliability check, engaging conversations with parents about current events and news, and foster deeper reading habits beyond the headline of an article.
Correct. Tafrir, do you want to give us any more? So the speed, it's
got it
too
all in
fast.
this answer. This only one is not rating here.
Which?
Get involved. Get involved.
Get involved.
There were four, איך אומרים את זה? 4 רעיונות, 4 ideas, and 3 of them are writing here, and 1 doesn't. So
You think that they should have written like get involved?
the all other stuff.
Although, like, I think, what do you guys think? Do you think the idea of getting involved, do you think it appears here in maybe different words?
I think it is.
Which sentence do you think shows that?
Promote engagement, integrity, alertness, and imaginative thinking.
Yes, it kind of, you're right. It's sort of like, without really saying it, it shows that the parents are called on to get involved, right? And I don't know, when I say the word engage in conversation with parents, that to me says, get involved, parents. That's engage. That's what engage means, really. But yeah.
What's the meaning of engage?
Engage, it really means to get in there, to get involved. That's actually what it means, to talk, to...
להיות חלק, להתערב או משהו.
Ken, I wonder if there's a good way to say this in Hebrew that really explains that word. No, the video is not running in normal speed.
Oh, no, I was about to say, I sped it up to because we don't have
FYI,
time.
yeah. I don't talk I don't talk that fast.
I mean, it's very calm and very slow. So yeah.
That's okay. I don't talk.
It's annoying anyway, so it's okay.
Anyway, we saw the critical incident. Let's unpack it a bit.
Exactly. So I'll start by saying, like, what I love the simplicity of this video. So it's just, it's vocabulary. Okay, the main emphasis was here that words have more than one meaning, or you can have an answer which is kind of. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to be fast and it's getting too much. So like they found the correct answers, but like Irene did not stop there. She encouraged them to think about the why. Okay, why the answers were correct. Although it's a simple activity, again, they were just trying to find the recommendation. So she prompted them to realize that ideas don't always appear. Maybe we have a different word. They kind of discussed the word engage and involved, which connected to the vocabulary of the course, and it was about like more than just keywords. It's just, let's construct meaning together, and everyone had a place. Everyone was talking, and there was no wrong answer. So this is what I loved the most. Irene, do you wanna reflect?
Yeah, I just wanted to share a little something. So yeah, this is more the speed. This is the way I talk. That I would never talk that fast in an English lesson. But just what is the subtext of my teaching, the overarching way that I teach is basically fostering an environment of comfort. The moment I feel like people feel comfortable enough to make mistakes, I think that's the space where you can have learning happening. I wrote, there's no wrong answers, almost, obviously. And that's what I was trying to do in that video clip that was very, very, very fast. Just trying to elicit responses from students and just listening to what they're saying, and just instead of saying yes or no, this is right or this is wrong, just throwing a question back at them, and I always like to have help students think about how they think. So do a little bit of metacognition, and specifically, like Nora said, I connect the answers, which are really just, it was really just finding supporting ideas to a big message. I connected to a student who asked, what does it mean? What does engage mean? And just trying to connect them to language in a way that really speaks to them, in a way that they would understood. And I was kind of surprised when Nora told me that this is the video that was chosen. But I understand it is a little snapshot of how I teach, and just really giving everybody the space to make mistakes, to voice their opinions, so that not only the strong students feel that they can ask questions. And I was actually surprised that students feel comfortable enough to ask, well, what does this word mean? Or what is that? And
if I can, what I saw here was there were 4 ideas in the paragraph, right, in the text. And the student, first of all, they all felt very comfortable. He says, but we've only marked 3 here, and 1 idea from the paragraph is missing. Nachon, it rested on maybe not understanding a word in the item itself in the distractor, right? But he had macro global knowledge of the ideas in the paragraph. He can number them off, right? He just didn't create the right synonymous sentence with the one that we had there. But you then opened it. So what's going on in the students' minds there? They're trying to remember, what are the 4 ideas? What ideas are here? How do I keep it all together, right? And then you opened it up to the other students, and with the help of another student, somebody came in and said, well, here it is in other words, right? So it's really, it's think about moving from Elena's to this one. It's from the integrating of 2 ideas that, to creating like, okay, now let's think at the paragraph level also, like what's going on here, right? And ensuring that all those ideas are there. So that's what I saw.
Yeah.
All right. And it was open discussion and it was in dialogue. So that was lovely. And now, and that you can see the progression of the cognitive complexity of the tasks as we go up the levels, and we'll finish with Dalal.
Right.
Hi. Okay, so I'm not going to share screen, but I did send something in the chat just to kind of give context first. So the video you're about to share, where it falls exactly. So up until this point in the course, students have mainly worked as readers and reporters. So they identified the author's ideas and summarized information, right? The first unit deals with a summary, second unit with a synthesis, synthesizing 2 texts, and then there's a shift to forming a position and supporting their position using 2 texts. So this is what what the course does, right? And in this lesson, the learning objective changes, and students are expected to move from understanding someone else's opinion to constructing and defending their own. And what you're going to see is a snapshot of the synthesis, teaching the synthesis, basically. So the main challenge in this lesson is not the language itself, but it is helping students make this perceptive shift. They need to understand that they are no longer writing about the text. So the spotlight, if you will, needs to shift, and that they are writing in their own voice, and they have to first think about what the texts are saying, right? So before introducing the actual topic, I teach the underlying skeleton of this shift using a simple example.
Okay,
Nora,
let's see
over
it,
to
play
you.
it. Normal speed, I swear.
From the articles, okay? Let's kind of give a simple example, illustrate. If Article 1 tells me chocolate can damage health, this is the main idea. Chocolate can damage health. And then the article goes on and supports this idea. One thing is that it can cause skin problems. And then the whole section talks about different skin problems, acne, etc. And then I have another section, and it adds that chocolate can cause people to gain weight. It talks about maybe obesity, gaining weight, the dangers of that. So I have here an article fully on the damages of chocolate. The second article talks about how chocolate can lift up the mood and help people concentrate. A lot of food today. So chocolate can lift up the mood and help people concentrate. And then it goes on, it gives studies, findings from studies. One study shows that students during exams, those who consumed chocolate got better grades. And another study shows that people who eat chocolate once a week are generally in better moods. Okay, so one shows that they concentrate better, they got better grades as a result. During exams, you need to concentrate. And the other shows that they are generally in better moods. Okay? Now, what do they both talk about?
About chocolate consuming.
Chocolate consuming, I can think about how much chocolate is sold in a certain place, right? So be a little bit more precise.
Okay, so maybe it's both articles talks about the chocolate, and now I can say that one of them is talking about the downsides and one is talking about the benefits.
How do you call in one word both the downsides and the benefits? What are these, basically, of chocolate? The what of chocolate?
Effect. Influence.
The effects of chocolate.
The effects,
the
right.
influence, the
Yes.
effects of chocolate.
The effects,
Good.
right.
Okay, so the effects of chocolate. You can leave it like that. You can add on something. On what?
On people's health or well-being or
Good. On people, on people's health, on people's well-being. Good. Nice. All right. So this is what they both discuss. Both talk about this.
Okay, so what is special about this, by the way, probably my instructors are surprised. What is this? So it's all Dalal, yeah? She kind of recognized what the most challenging aspect of the course is writing a synthesis or a synthesized idea or a position statement, something in between. And she created all of this, which is great. So she guides them to slow down and think before jumping to a synthesis. Okay, and a lot of questions, and through the questions, students learn how to connect the two ideas together and understand what the broader issue is, what's the like abstract idea is, which is again one of the most challenging things to do. Our students are struggling with this. So rather than giving them the answer, she guides them. They construct the meaning together. There's no wrong answer. And this is a very good, step in between to prepare them to generate afterwards. We ask them to generate a new insight, something they come up by themselves. And this is a step before. So it's wonderful.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. That was awesome that you could really see the way the students were trying to create a bridge between those two texts, right? That's
Oh, sorry.
Limon?
I think it was brilliant, and I reflect on things that I did with students that were more complex. So I think that actually the simplicity that she used was very helpful for them to grasp the idea of synthesis.
Could you hear them thinking when they did their think aloud when they spoke, right? And the more we get them to think aloud in class, the more we'll be checking in on what they're getting and what's going on in there, right? And that's and each level has its cognitive complexities and challenges and tasks, and yet, and still, this is what today was about. Today is about. We're going to take a break. Thank you for sticking with this until now. Let's take a full 10 minutes, if that's okay, and come back at 31, please.
I just want to add one more thing. I want to
Please.
compliment Dalal on the simplicity of the teaching and say, first it was brilliant. I joined Limor in this. And then I want to add and say that it actually sparked an idea in me of what to do in the new vish of the course. So Dalal and Nora, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. We're hoping for cross-pollination, so Galit, kol hakavod. Till 2:32, please. Okay, I'm coming back.
Yo, can you please share the nice video of the break? I'd like to use it in my lessons.
I just shut down the tab, but I'll put it. I'll look it for it later. Sure. Every time I just go for like 10 minutes, whatever, study break video. Find something on YouTube. I try to change it up.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. There was one with somebody doing yoga. I was debating whether to use that one. אמרתי, זה שאפתני מדי. All right, cool. יפה. Let's move on. Now let's get to the doing because you did a whole bunch of watching. Ken, I hope it was nice for you just to hear from your fellow colleagues. That was an important value that we tried to really, live in this session. I know that, and I apologize if I hurried things too long, but that's just the nature of the beast. טוב, אז באמת, סליחה. We're going to go out into breakout rooms right now, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to be like 3 or 4 in a group, all right? There'll be a coordinator in a group or like, I don't know. And what you're going to do is each one of you is going to share a kind of teaching success that you had. If it's from this semester or this past semester, then great. If not, all right, you don't need to show any videos or anything. All you're going to do is you're going to talk about it, tell it. If it's from a past semester before, then that's fine. What I want you to focus on and try to think about this is what was the learning objective, right? When was it made clear to the students? Did students see an example or a non-example? Did they get guided practice? What feedback did you give? All right. And what showed students were beginning to own the skill on their own. All right. So you'll see here the mapping of a teaching activity. All right. The teaching cycle. Now, I want to jump to what you're going to need to do with the slides. And I want to give you the slides. כן, אז רגע, כמה וכמה דברים פתוחים אצלי. Here. So you have the slide that I just showed you. You have it here. Use the room number that you're in. So it'll just start room 1. Okay, room 1 will be here. It starts on slide 3, room 1, but look at the room number, room 2, room 3. You'll see what room you are when you're in the breakout room. Okay, what you need to think about is what the lesson it is. All right, you can add more rows here if you want so that more people can get in. I'm going to share the link and make sure anyone with the link can edit. Put that in the chat for everyone. I got to everybody. Make sure you can go in. Let me know if you can't go in. I'm going to continue to explain in the meantime. the course and the lesson, what the LO is in the language of the skill, right?
No, we can reach it. It's fine.
You can, good. Yofi. And you have the ability to edit in the document? Okay, good. What the students did, how you recognized ownership or the beginning of taking on ownership, and what you think made it work. Okay, a success story. בסדר? So, שירלי, את משחררת אותם to the breakout rooms? Please enter your room. And we have a bunch of people who are unassigned, so we will I'll start assigning people. I'll add a room, and I'll assign 3 people to that room. Okay. If you haven't gotten an assignment yet, I'm assigning you now to a room.
Actually, I'm using 2 computers, so I'm with the room with
Choose a room and apologize to
a 12.
You're assigned to rooms. Just look at your link and go into the room.
She's assigned to 2 rooms.
Yeah, she went in.
What if I just assigned you to a room? And we're gonna give a go.
That the students feel that they master this skill. So it was an interesting discussion, actually.
They can even have ownership prior to mastery.
Exactly, yeah.
I really want to do
We're
this.
thrown out in the middle.
Yeah, the getting torn out of a breakout room mid labor is
At
a
least
form
we
of
see the
new
seconds.
digital torture.
The fact that we see the seconds, like the countdown, is that like a new feature? Because I remember at first, the beginning, when I used to use when I used to shut the breakout room, students used to say, "Ma, pito, mustano," like they were shocked.
So and it's been around for a while, but could be new, like a relative.
What is nice to do is I broadcast my voice. They say it sounds like a message that they hear in a supermarket. You hear this ding dong, and then you broadcast your voice, and then you can already say, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to bring you back. You can also broadcast a message, but the voice is the nicest. And I always ask if they hear it, and they say yes. And I said, don't worry, it's not God speaking, but
Yeah. All of a sudden, like, yes, I hear you, Lord, right? Like, I don't know if I want to create this religious experience for the students. And all of a sudden they see the light.
Whatever was written here, can we please get it?
Yeah. Okay, wait, let me record. We're recording. Yofi. I think after every workshop, we send like a post-workshop package with all the necessary links and some of the essential points summarized in the mail. So you'll have it, yes. You can save the links now for yourselves, but also we just put in a package for you so that you have it. Now, what I'd like to do is, I don't know if people who are, should we go slide by slide, or let's Does anyone want to start? Let's try it more free range and see how that goes, as opposed to just going down the list. And then let's see who wants to something that they shared from the slide that they worked on with their group. All right, any insight, something you take away, something that got strengthened for you. Who wants to present? You can share your screen with the slide. Do you want me to call on you?
I would like, I have my.
Please, Yofi.
Yes. Okay, so what we did, we have chosen, hold on a second, I'll try to reach our slide in a second. We have chosen Leah's course, and we looked at the specific lessons, understanding that this specific lesson weighs a lot. And the reason why it weighs a lot is because both skills and hard skills and soft skills, as well as job titles and job descriptions, are dependent on it. And what we did, Elena, Nardin, and I, we looked at lesson number 9, and we said if noun phrases are so important after they've been explicitly taught, they also had an exercise. Sorry? Michal?
No, there's a mistake. Keep going.
Okay. So they, after they practiced, they've been explicitly taught what a noun phrase is. They have the breaking down exercises, and that's like immediately quite a guided practice. They don't have they went through the modeling and they have examples. They don't have non-examples. They could be very easily given. So that's what you see here. What kind of more practice can we do with them? And this is what I'm doing with them in order to stress out that noun phrases, the most important word in a noun phrase is usually the last word, which I'm doing this game which is called Name the Boss Word. And they have to find the boss word in titles, in different job titles that they have to look at. And they really have a lot of fun screaming them out, like graphic designer, or whatever. That's one. And they are really enjoying the play, and it's also making them speak, even if only one word. I would love to Elena to carry on with her example, which I feel is brilliant, and I already asked permission to reuse it. Elena, would you like to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same lesson. It's lesson 9, and the learning objective is to read and understand job titles quickly. This activity, what students did, it includes 2 stages. The first stage, in breakout rooms, in pairs or in small groups, students read job descriptions, extract meaning from job descriptions, and present keywords. Then, when they get out from the breakout rooms into the main room, they need to present the keywords, and the other students need to guess the job title based on the keywords presented by students. So, ownership signal. There are several also layers. Maybe Nadine, would like to talk about this? Okay, just a moment. Okay, or I can continue. So a few ownership signals. Students need to paraphrase. They need to process the job descriptions in a meaningful way, because job descriptions are presented in a such way that they absolutely need to present it in some other way. Okay, Naldine, I see that. Upon returning to the main room, others need to be able to guess the job title based on keywords, and it's also processing, understanding. It's something that makes it their own. And why it works? Okay, maybe you would like to
Yeah,
explain.
I will.
Mhm.
I think that this works, this specific example that we all worked on works wonderfully, but it is Elena's example. She has the ownership of it because it's scenario driven. And what I mean by scenario driven, in this specific lesson, they need to basically, we're giving them the tools to job hunt. And by making it real, this guessing, having to guess from a job description, it's an action, a real action that they will perform in real life at some given point in time of their careers. They will probably job hunt, and that makes it very, very relevant.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. It was deep and fascinating and practical and true to real life in the classroom. And somebody else?
I can introduce an activity.
Please share your screen and maybe you'll pull some people in from your group to
Right, to explain, let me share. Okay, so I'll share the first one. Both of them were great. One of them was Margaret's idea and one of them was Madal's idea. The first one requires a bit preparation from the teacher.
Can you enlarge a bit, Aliza?
It's a bit small.
Oh, sorry.
The font is a bit small, yeah. And now we don't see the next one.
Great. Yeah.
It doesn't matter because I'll just introduce one. Unless you want me to introduce both. All right. So Margaret's idea referred to lesson 4, and this is the same lesson that we saw Elena with. But the first part of it, the part that before we start reading the text. And again, this is a lesson that is introduces many skills, mainly reading, taking notes, the whole process that goes along with that very methodically. So what Margaret does is she prepares them for the text, for reading the text with guided speaking. And what she does is that she prepares PowerPoints in which the different slides refer to different vocabulary and grammar structures that are used in the text, so that they will need in the text. For instance, community projects, that's also a noun phrase, so it's nice. She asks a question about it, giving them options. She asks a question about a specific word or term, and then gives them options on how to answer, like sentence starters, which use different grammatical structures. And then they kind of complete it. She starts with that, very guided speaking, using it. And then she creates interaction between the students, okay, where they have to answer each other, they have to relate to each other, and all this is done in speaking. She says not too long, like maximum 20 minutes on this, and by the time they finish, 20 minutes sounds like a lot. As we said, it takes 5 minutes, right? And the 20 minutes includes already preparing for the text, meaning the questions are not related to the text. The questions relate to things that will be discussed in the text that are related to the topic. So they're all nice and toasted for reading the text. Now, why is this done? So first of all, when we asked about, when I asked, or we asked about the ownership, so first of all, I'll say what Margaret said that it minimizes use of dictionaries and enhance that in its own enhances ownership of meaning. So that what she sees is that once they get to reading, they rely less on the dictionary and they can concentrate on meaning construction, which I thought was very nice. Obviously, there's an ownership part that relates also to the speaking itself. Speaking is something that students want and they like, and giving them guided practice, a guided way to speak, as we saw in other clips at the beginning, helps them and they like it. Students love it.
Aliza, in the chat, they're asking you if you can give an example.
Margaret.
Well, it's in my computer. I can send it to you later on. So because
we can include it as an appendix to the post-workshop package.
I can send it to Aliza later. So
all right, thank you.
Yeah,
and also prepares them for Maman 12 because they have to present their community project later on, which they chose based on one of the texts. So that it's
right.
I don't like the word
wow, Margaret. Right, the community project, right. You're not talking about citizen science, it's different.
I don't like this expression, killing many birds, because I don't want to kill any bird. It's like killing many birds with one stone, but it's not. I don't like this expression because I want all the birds to be alive and flying. Not
all right, Yofi. Thank you. Lovely. That was also a little deep dive and window into Mitgadmim Aleph. Somebody else? Let's hear from like at least two more groups. Let's hear from an instructor that we haven't heard from yet.
Silence, Phil.
I can go if you wish.
That was an illustration of the golden silence and the power of awkwardness.
That's what I said, silence, Phil.
It's exactly what happens in classes.
Okay,
I'll share.
And it worked. Nice.
Okay.
Shaya, can you share a screen or shall I?
Why don't you share?
Okay. So it's the first one here. This is from the past semester. It took a long time to get to the main ideas of paragraphs and main ideas of sections. And I've shown students many times how to do it, and they did work on it. And somehow when it gets to Tachles, to the money time, they can't really come up with the main idea of the section. So it was one of the texts of Maman 13 that we haven't done in class earlier. I've worked with them on the first section. They had to do the other sections on their own. I just read the first paragraph. They had to come up with the main idea. I asked them what helped them find the main idea, where they see specific details, where they see a more general statement, etc., connectors, etc. So we did that with, I don't remember how many paragraphs, maybe 3. And then while they were talking, they understood processes. They understood, this is how to find the main idea of a paragraph, or this is how you find the main idea of a section. So then when they started, especially one of them was very verbal, and he liked to repeat the theory from time to time, and that was very helpful. So I stopped sharing the screen, and then I started asking them, so how did we come up with the main idea of the whole section? And they came up with nice, I could see that they understood. And they said, so this is how you do it. From this, I understood that finally they understood how to become more proficient in this skill.
Nice. That was really a nice description. Hit home. All right. Yafeh. Anyone else from that group that want to expand? All right. We can have another group. Let's do one more. One more of these shares and we'll move on. Can I ask Allah, Wafa, Irene, I see you have your slide is full of richness. Can I ask you guys to present?
I don't mind.
Thank you. That was an alternative approach to the golden silence.
Okay, just a second. I'll share my screen. Hold on for a second. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Which slide would you like me to
This one.
share? This one?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just want to say one thing before I start explaining about the activity that I described in this table, having observed what other teachers shared. I mean, in my opinion, I guess the lower levels, in the lower levels, the lessons are structured around specific skills, whereas in the upper levels, like Metkadmim, Aleph, and Bet, it's more about the whole toolkit, so to speak, or the whole toolbox coming together. Okay, what we're interested in as teachers is to see how students are able to pick and choose the different tools that they have acquired throughout the different levels that they had to go through, and how these tools are being used, and how the knowledge is coming together during the lessons. Okay, so with regards to the row and this table, the skill that or the lesson objective that I picked is filling out the summary tables, okay, which is a basic skill in the Metkabim Bet course. Okay, they use it in first unit. Okay, when they have to prepare a summary paragraph. They use it in unit 2 when they need to write a synthesis paragraph, and all the way through the all the way up until the final stages of writing a position paper. Now, the instructions given to students as they were working in breakout rooms were to basically work together in order to complete the task of filling out a summary table. Okay, of course, this activity was supervised. I would share a Google document, and I would track their progress and give immediate feedback. I would track changes and even write them type comments for them to see. I would like color my comments in different color for them to see. And I would check on them every now and then, go to the different breakout rooms and see what questions they have. So when it comes to the ownership, I mean, what I wrote here, I'm just gonna paraphrase. The fact that they have a task at hand and they need to complete it within a specific time frame. And knowing that it's a shared doc, so everybody can see everybody else's answers, including myself, and they know that they're supposed to present. Okay, just like we did during today's session as teachers. I mean, they were asked if there are volunteers, and so I do the same during my lessons. I mean, especially in the lesson outlined here in this table. So knowing that there gotta be a representative from each group to share the answers, so it kind of gives them some agency and ownership over their work. Okay. Finally, when it comes to the success, I mean, I would attribute the success of the task to different factors. First of all, I mean, as I said, the fact that they are working in small groups, okay, kind of lowers the anxiety level, and you can see everybody opening the cameras and the mics, and it started to talk to one another and share ideas. So that contributed to a great extent to the success of the task. Second of all, as I said earlier, I mean, the fact that it was like a shared document and I was like tracking the changes, the answers, and giving immediate feedback. So it kind of helped the students like take more responsibility and they take the task more seriously in order to achieve a common goal.
Nice. Nice. Very clear, concise. Thank you very much. That was lovely.
Thanks.
If you go down through the slides, just look at the ownership signal and what you're seeing here, right? You'll see themes. Just go down ownership signal across the various. Take a second now and tell me, as you go down the slides and you see just the ownership signal column, what themes emerge? What words or actions repeat? Everyone do that. Go down there, that column for yourselves.
Participation, ability,
Participation, practice.
Fun, which is also very important. Involvement. These are the words I spotted.
Yeah. Keep going down.
The font is very, very small, even somebody without glasses.
Okay. I mean, each one you can enlarge the slides for yourselves.
Can we?
You can go through on your own screens down the slides. You see, they were able to. Right? One slide even has, I don't know if this is a theme that emerged, but it's mentioned that the fact that it was, and this is something that Allah just talked about, they know they have an event that's public where their communication is made public, either orally or on a shared doc. Other people are seeing them. That also makes them somehow take more responsibility for their own communication. That public aspect of communication is key. Communication is done in public. So the fact that they're able to do it, okay, nice. Now, anything else that wasn't mentioned going down column ownership?
Yeah, I want to mention something that came up in our room. So we were talking about Khulud, wrote into her part, she wrote in the idea of students become autonomous. And we had a bit of a discussion, like, does that is that part of the learning objective, or, but in any case, whether it is or it isn't, I think it definitely is a very important feature of ownership. And ownership is all about the students becoming responsible and accountable towards themselves, right, for what's going on. And that, of course, has a lot to do with autonomy and, taking things a step further because they see that it's important, and they understand very transparently, why they need it, and they gradually take on the skill until they become autonomous.
That's nice. It's Professor Jonathan Fine from Bar Ilan, Zichrono Livracha, right? He said the goal of every teacher is to render themselves irrelevant. The students should no longer need us. And then we've known that's wonderfully Buddhist, right? We disappear into the fog, and they can be successful on their own without us, right? And so that's, I think, an important value.
There's an equivalent saying which echoes what you just said. It goes like that. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears.
I haven't heard this one.
Nice.
Nice. We'll be writing our own fortune cookies soon enough. Thank you, Grasshopper.
I think something similar in what you just said is, I think one of the themes is breakout rooms. So when they're on their own without us, when we're not getting in the way, is also when they're taking ownership.
Nice. Ken. That connects to the example of my own teaching where I tried to help them too much, which interfered. And if I had just let go and took a step back, yes. Which is why I think thinking about what's going on in their minds right now and trying to help design and further them along a learning path that is effective for them is key. We can also now do the same exercise going down the what made it work. There is amazing pedagogy that runs through just this column, going down and across the slides. What are the things that made it work? Go through that, everybody, on your own a little bit and tell me what themes emerge from there.
The most repetitive word that I see is modeling.
Modeling.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Safe space. Feeling comfortable. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it belongs to this column or to the ownership, but they understand, and Leah said it before in our group, they understand why they need to do this, and this helps their motivation. And when they have to do it publicly or in a breakout room, then the why becomes the practice itself. And there's also one thing that is not here, but I heard from my students in the last lesson. They say that one of the main disadvantages of the Open University is that they feel lonely. And the English lessons, because they must participate usually, almost every semester, but it gives them a chance to see people and talk to people. And it's not one of our learning objectives, but it's one of theirs. So it becomes relevant because it combines our objective with their own. And they said that in English lessons, when they had to speak to each other, they got to know people. They felt less lonely.
That is a perfect segue.
That's really nice.
Yeah, to thinking about ownership and what does it mean to, first of all, the role of community in ownership, right? So we're doing it together and supporting one another, and we're at least to witness one another going through this process, right? Because it's remote and the challenges that are faced, but you have to be super disciplined to be a complete lone wolf and learn on your own. Super disciplined. That's why the dropout rate in MOOCs after the first session or two is 80, 85%, right? So what does it mean to have ownership over this? It's also the meta level of what is it going, do I own the learning process on this goal? What is it going to take for me to learn this? So I have class time, right? And I'll get the support. Maybe I can communicate that to my instructor. But what do I do outside of class time? If this is mine, my learning is my own. And the WIFM there, why should I do it? If they don't have the WIFM, then they won't be owners. Now, the comments that I got back from the fireside chat on ownership really saw the semester in one of two ways. And it was around the fact that the assignments, the course requirements, right? The mamanim and the mamachim, right? The homeworks and the mamanim weren't required. And so on some of the comments, it was because it's not required, they're not owners. But then the other half of the comments were because it's not required, you can really see who the real owners are, right? And I think it's the skill set of the teacher, the instructor, is changing from presenting things, a lecture in a didactic, systematic way, to facilitating ownership, which may take some more marketing skills, may take more psychological skills. It's a different skill set. So how do you create owners who see what the challenge is and that they want to meet this challenge? What do you guys think? Because I saw that this was Zoel Inyan, and I wanted to use this time now to hear from you about the ownership. Do you buy it? Are you owners of the ownership process, or it's all highfalutin pedagogy that isn't practical for my classroom?
In language, it's quite elusive, but if the students feel their own mastery of a certain set of skills, and there are different skills, we divide them into 4, and they feel there is improvement, and they feel it once they internalize, this is ownership. Another word is mastery. If they feel that they've improved their reading, their speaking, their writing within the set of their learning objectives. So this is.
Does anyone have a comment to that? Because I would say, on the one hand, build on small successes so they feel that they're capable, yes. But they don't have to achieve mastery to have ownership over the learning process. They just have to really be motivated towards achieving mastery, even if that's a lifelong process.
I agree.
Can I add something about it?
Can you repeat that sentence? No need to have mastery, please?
They don't need, I don't think it's a necessary criteria for having ownership is to achieve mastery. I think you can have ownership prior to mastery because you're owning the learning process. This is something I'm going to get through this book. All right, I'm reading a book now. It's a little bit long. I know my schedule's busy, but I know when I put aside the time to do it, and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read that book. All right, and maybe it's once a week, and maybe that's a challenge, but I still own that process. And that's an actual life experience I'm going through right now. Who is
all right, sorry. I still don't, since you went into it, what is the ownership? What is
I
the
was
ownership?
waiting. When is Yuri going to erupt?
No, I wasn't going to say anything, but now that Tov asked, and so you're saying, well, I read it, I didn't quite, I didn't get everything, or yeah, if I understood correctly, but I own it. I don't understand that you put a star next to it. What does that mean? You own it. If you don't understand it, if you have, forget mastery, because it's not like you're doing a doctorate. But if you didn't quite get it, then I don't understand what the word ownership is.
No, not Vegas. So
I didn't mean
maybe my example wasn't clear.
as perfection. Master for me is improvement. It's just another word. When I said master, I didn't mean the perfect use of something. No, just
Listen,
getting
I can read a
better.
whole book in
No,
French.
hey, we're not.
I can physically read a book in French and I will understand, I don't know, every so often I'll understand something. To say that I have ownership over that is ridiculous. Okay, so the question is, what is ownership in this context?
Yes, yeah.
I just want to understand what you said. That's all. I'm not saying it's not true. I just want to understand what you mean by it.
I guess it's just responsibility.
It's such a I think that like the ownership that we're talking about for our students, it's like it's so abstract, it's like a psychological thing. I mean it's not necessarily, I mean, mastery, yes, it's great, but it's like it's like the process is like having a stake in something. And there are different ways to create that. One way to do that is to go back to I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, is through community. That's one way, but it's I think it's an elusive concept, like it, because it's internal. But the fact that the students showed up, like even when they didn't have to during the war, the fact that actually during the war, when the mamans were elective, actually so many students did complete them. I mean, that to me says ownership.
I have a very quick example of that, which just come to my mind. In my Tromsø Bet course, I had a lot of technical problems, and one student took it upon himself to take people's numbers and WhatsApps, and everything, and contact them and make himself available to help them. It just occurred to me that is what he did.
It's a lovely example,
and everyone was just so appreciative, and called him, Laurel's technical assistant, which he was. So there you are.
I don't know. If you told me that a person had 85% understanding of something and then you call that ownership, I get that.
No, wait, I want to separate.
May I try?
Otherwise, I don't get it.
Yeah, no. I want to separate between ownership and mastery, and I don't want it to be so abstract. Like most nominalizations, what we're essentially talking about is a bundle of functions. All right? And how do these functions manifest? They're manifested by, number one, I'll decide when and how I'm going to do something. All right? Because that's what, if I own it, then that's that. I'm going to take initiative. Like in Laurel's example, the student who took initiative for collective learning in the group. I'm not talking about how much they understand and know, but I'm going to decide and I'll take initiative, all right, are two functions of ownership. The fact that I want, that I'm motivated, is a third function, right? That all goes into making up ownership, right? So I'm differentiating it and just distinguishing it from mastery or how far something's been internalized, and it's more about how the learning thereof gets managed by the person for the person. Again, Yehudit, you want to chime in?
So a person could fail and have ownership, from what I understand.
Say it again to me.
You can fail.
I think from what I understand, you can fail and still claim ownership. So
okay. I just believe that
if you do it properly, you fail. I get that.
If you have the right learning path that's well scaffolded, and the right mentorship and coaching vis-a-vis the instructors, you should be able to get there. But if we've designed a learning process where the steps are too big, then we've maybe designed them to fail. And even though they really still want to learn, and that would be wonderfully frustrating for them. You know what I mean? So, Yehudit.
Yeah, I wanted to give this example. So maybe that comes live from my class, that students asked what does to engage mean? And another one I asked, so what do you think it means? I said, I know that it's what you do before getting married, more or less, right? So irusin. And I think that's like what we are looking to define here is when we claim that ownership is taking responsibility or of both the teacher and the student, it's an act. It's a performative act of doing, understanding, and producing something with that, which is pretty much like marriage.
The word
starts with engaging.
The word engaged came up twice today, which may be the bearer of good news. This workshop is brought to you by the letter E. But how, when you get engaged with somebody in the marriage sense, you're mamash involved. And that was what Irene's explanation was in the video. So we've come full circle like the engagement ring. Some of the groups in the breakout rooms were finished the first task and and I gave them a second task. And that second task was essentially everybody on their own takes a slide. You'll see people's names on various slides. We created a bunch of slides, but people took various slides. And here, what we asked people to do is essentially go in, take an activity that didn't work so well for you, look at it through the lens of the teaching cycle, and give it some attention here. It was an activity that bothers you, that it didn't go so smoothly the last time you taught it. You can use this, all right? Some people have already started working on it. Some people may have even completed this. I'm putting this for you now in the chat. And to everybody. And so you can use this. But we are almost pretty much done.
Can I just ask one question?
Please.
In the learning cycle, with the objectives, you mentioned the amount of minutes. And what I was concerned with this semester is like some of the concepts require much longer than that. So my question is, can all the topics we teach...
My answer to you is, if you can help us find ways of chunking them even smaller, because their attention spans just aren't there, so just smaller chunks, right? And you'll have the high flyers, right? And you'll have the slower learners and everyone in between. But I think it's a matter of chunking.
Okay, so you're saying every concept is practically you can basically chunk down everything you teach.
Force yourself into the explicit instruction and modeling within 10 minutes max together. Force yourself into that so you get them to the doing. And if that doing needs to be a smaller task, then so be it.
Okay.
All right. That's the approach. Efrat, and then I want to sum up because I feel responsible. I have to move on to my next meeting too, and I do feel responsible for your time as well. So Efrat.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll try to make it short. I think that the way I see ownership is how much are they invested in this process? How much are they committed, okay, to their own success? And I think what I try to do is I always try to tell them, not always, but I often tell them, why are we doing this? Okay, we're doing this because this will help you. First, you will learn the structure, and then you will learn, because it will help you, not just for the Maman and for the final exam, it will help you for your life. You'll be able to communicate and talk more confidently. So I actually tell them, we do this. First, I'm going to show you this structure, then we will practice it, and then you will talk about it, okay, in breakout rooms, and then you will share. So I explain why this is important, okay, because I understand these are grown-ups and they want to understand what's my width and what's in it for me. What am I getting out of this? Why should I spend time over this? Time and effort, and everything is just so, okay, it has to be, I have to see the value in it. The other thing is I also try to tell them, like, pedagogically, I give them sometimes these insights of, like, whenever there is a question, I don't just, jump in and say the answer. I tell them, okay, who can help? What do you think? So how should we do this? What do you think? And then once I told them, do you know why I do this? And I don't just give you the answer. So one, I actually tell them this and behind the scene, because it helps me because the class is more vibrant and engaged, and it's not just me blah 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 talking, but also because actually when you explain something to someone else, it makes you know the material better. So when you teach someone else, it always the knowledge that you gain, like to processing the knowledge, is at a deeper level. So it will actually help you. And when I did it, the student that actually answered another person's question, and then he seemed kind of exhausted, and then a student asked a question, and then I said that, and then I said, so it actually makes you know the material better. And then I was ready to move on and have another student answer, and he said, hang on, so should I continue explaining again to the other student? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? And another student that was kind of like really quiet that lesson, suddenly woke up and and she also wanted to participate and explain, because I actually give them, I explain why it's important for them to be active and engaged. And nice. The other thing I wanted to say is that Davka, last thing, I promise, Davka, when I take a step back and I tell them, you know what, I see that you haven't learned the vocabulary. So, what, chaval al-azman, our time is really precious. So next time I won't do it. Okay. But it's really, and then one student was like, what? Lama, אבל זה חשוב. And I was like, yes, you're right. זה באמת חשוב, but I'm not going to do it if I'm the only one answering. So, and then one student said, כן, את כבר יודעת את זה. So it's,
that's awesome. There's just a lot of layers here. And what you're referring to now isn't something that we address, but that's new territory, maybe for a future workshop, which is how do we shift the responsibility of the class sessions from us to them? Exactly. And today I felt a qualitative difference in the way, like, the slides are starting to be built. You guys jumped in. The machlaka ovedet. Like, this is fertile ground. You were wonderfully engaged throughout. And so did you finish, Efrat? Or did I cut you off?
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that sometimes we want to help and support and everything, but Davka, and I do that, but Davka, when I take a step back and I tell them, okay, I'm doing my part, but you have to do your part, and if it's not, then chaval al-azman, we'll just continue. אבל מה לעשות? I don't want to do it, but if there's no use, then, and then sometimes they wake up and say, hang on, but it's important, and it actually helped.
When we get there, we're at Mitkaddmim Aleph, you know what I mean? But at the moment, try to think about the connections between the scenarios, which should look like some future they care about for themselves, the ownership, the goals that we have, the learning objectives, and Anat, you called it the learning cycle. It's a teaching cycle. It's the process that you're going through in the classroom. Their learning cycle may be slightly different, what they're going through, right? So at least for our actions, our practices in the classroom, try to build those connections, and then a bigger picture should start to emerge. All right, so I'd like to leave it on that. I'm glad you guys, we heard so much from you and the leadership that instructors took in running this session today. Toda raba.
Thank you, Lior. It was very, very important.
There will be a post-workshop package sent your way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.